There are several reasons for the growing popularity of simulation models over the last decades. Most prominently, probably, is people began to get very interested in systems that were not mathematically tractable. For example, people became increasingly interested in the social sciences, e.g. economics, and creating models of those systems using conventional mathematics just did not seem possible. Furthermore, as the systems to be modeled grew increasingly complex, people really had an urge to find a way to model them in a series of successive refinements, where they would build a model, try it, discover they didn't like it, and then make it a little bit more accurate, a step at a time. You will see us throughout the rest of this class doing exactly that. We'll start with simple models, look at the results, and then figure out how to change the model to make the results more accurate. Another useful attribute of simulation models is that it's relatively easy to extract intermediate results. We can stop the simulation and look at what the world looks like partway through it. That, in turn, makes it easier to improve the simulation. And finally, there was a necessary condition, and that's the availability of fast computers and big memory. Until the advent of the modern computer in the middle of the 20th century, the utility of simulation was limited by the time required to perform calculations by hand or the mechanical complexity of application-specific simulators. One way to appreciate the pervasiveness of simulations today is to perform an internet search for various kinds of simulation. Let's go over here to my browser and give it a try. When I discuss this material in my live class at MIT, I always ask the class to tell me what they'd like to hear about. It being MIT, inevitably somebody says physics. So if we look at that, we'll see, well, there are quite a few, well over 6 million pages with simulations of physics. Increasingly, MIT students are moving towards the life sciences, so biology always crops up. Well, and we can see that appears, at least in this way, to be more popular than physics. There are always some finance students in my class. Not too surprisingly, finance in the world at large seems to be more popular even than biology. And then, even though nobody suggests it usually, I always do this because I love sports. And we see that sports are even more popular than finance.